It is an absolute crucial game tonight. West Ham versus Brentford in the Premier League. One that West Ham simply just have to respond and start showing some fight. And it's vital to get a result. It really is. We need to stop the rot big time. It's been a really, really terrible start to the year. Well, it starts the year, isn't it? It's already coming up to March now without a win at all season, all competitions. I think it's 8 games, 4 draws, 4 defeats, and we conceded 11 goals in the last 3 games. Pressure's mounting. We know that. And we've got a team in Brentford who we've struggled against massively. We've got a really bad record against, which doesn't help. But it's at home, and we've got some obviously good news regarding the team as well in terms of Lucas Paqueta, which we've been talking about and reporting on this channel and reporting on the West Ham Way Patreon. So really, really good work that from XWH employee in regards to that. Let's talk about Brentford first. Let's get on with that. And I mean, a side that have struggled this season so far for their standards. Which says a lot, doesn't it? I mean, when you consider Brentford, the size of the club and whatnot, they have really done well to establish themselves as a Premier League side. And even now, even considering the fact they haven't been quite at it this season, they've had obviously a few things going on in terms of Ivan Toney. His absence didn't help, etc. You have to say the fact that even though they've not done so well, you still don't really consider them a team to go down. I mean, I think they're 5 points at the moment above the drop, and yet they're not in the conversation. There's not ever a club that you go, yeah, they're probably likely to go down this season. They'll really struggle. I just don't see it. And it just says a lot about that football club and how well they're run. But yeah, but that being said, we're playing a team that are struggling. They haven't been great. I mean, Ivan Toney's return has helped them. I want to talk about Ivan Toney, actually. I'm really in a mixed minds with him as a player and as a person. But not as a player. Certainly as a player, he's a very, very good player. And one that I think that West Ham made a catastrophic error in not signing him a few years ago when we had the opportunity to. It's just typical of us at times that we sort of let these things pass us by. And annoying that we let that happen because he would be, well, he's highly sought after now, isn't he? A wonderful striker, very lethal and ruthless in front of goal, and great player, and one we've got to seriously keep an eye on tonight. But I must say, I'm not overly enamoured with the talk of leaving Brentford from his side. I understand he's been linked elsewhere. I do get it. And I know that even, I think Thomas Frank himself has actually come out publicly and suggested that the player's going to be leaving in the summer. But I don't like it. I've got to be honest. I didn't like it that it was pretty much, I think it was pretty much, like they did this huge, like talk about Sky Sports here, etc., and BT Sport all kind of did this huge, big sort of celebration as it was to his return to football. It was all a bit weird, I found, anyway, considering the fact he was sort of, he's banned for betting allegations and illegal betting, etc. And I found it quite odd that they made such a hoo-ha about him returning. But it was during this return, he was doing these interviews and was really openly saying, like, I'm looking, I want to go and play Champions League. I want to go, and that's why, I didn't like it. It reminded me of when Declan Rice did it with West Ham. Look, I understand you get asked the question, okay? I do get that. I understand. And I understand as a footballer, of course, you've got aspirations, but I just think at times there are ways you handle those questions and remind yourself of the club you play for. When it was with West Ham, if you remember, I think it was the Winter World Cup, and I remember Declan Rice being asked about his aspirations as a player, and he kind of quickly jumped out, I want to be playing Champions League, all these players are all playing it. I just thought, we were in a relegation scrap at the time, and it just did not go down well at all, and bloody rightly so. I didn't like it. It's just not what you want. West Ham fans don't want to hear that, and I imagine Brentford felt the same. They've sat here waiting, 9 months for Ivan Toney's return? And with the first 5 minutes, he's talking about leaving. I don't think it was very good, personally, and I think he could have handled it a lot better. But that being said, he's been a great player for that football club, and he's come back and, remarkably, doesn't even look rusty at all. He's come back straight back in, banging the goals in and looking very good. And as I say, it's a serious concern, isn't he, for West Ham tonight? I'll tell you what, though, the way that Brentford have handled his upcoming departure, because we all know he's going in the summer. I mean, as I said, he's already said it, 2 minutes after getting back. And Thomas Frank's already said it, that they're going to sell him in the summer. So what have they done? They've gone and signed the replacement. They've got it done. Is it Igor Thiago? From Club Brugge, £30 million striker. Don't know a lot about him, as you can probably tell from my outstanding pronunciation of his name. But what a club, though. Do you know what I mean? That is what you want West Ham to be like. Do you know what I mean? That is what I want West Ham to be like. Like, we know that Paqueta's going in the summer, pretty much, don't we? We know that that's very, very likely. Have we got his replacement sorted? Maybe, but I wish we'd just go, yeah, West Ham sorted it. Got him in January, he's joining in the summer. That's it. That's the Paqueta replacement. Do you know what I mean? Like, why can't we be like that? It took us fucking 3 years to replace a striker. Do you know what I mean? They've done it before he's even gone. Oh, they're so well run. Really, really impressive. Impressive football club. They really are. I know, as I've said, they've had a difficult season so far for their standards. But they ain't going down. I don't think there's any risk of them going down at all. I cannot see with the players they've got and the way they play, the manager. I just don't see it. And I see them pushing on next season. I really do. Thomas Frank is a manager I've always admired. I've been so impressed with him, and one I really wish that I really see him as a West Ham manager. I really do. He's always been one I've always thought I'd love to see him at West Ham. I really would. I think he would. I think the fans would like him, and I like him. I really do. I've got a lot of time for him, and but I don't think he will be a West Ham manager. We don't seem to be getting linked with him at all. And obviously, if David Moyes does depart, and so much I've talked about previously, or I'll talk about again in a minute, then I think it's going to be somebody that's going to be a Tim Steidten selection, and we don't really know at the moment who that's going to be. But that actually excites me anyway. But yeah, great manager. I will say, though, that before going to West Ham, the final part on Brentford is the club being sold, which I find, I was quite shocked by it. And I've got to be honest, I worry for him a little bit. I'm slightly worried for him. I mean, they're very, very good, Brentford, at their kind of plan, aren't they? And as I said, they know they're losing their star striker, so they go and get their replacement lined up straight away. They seem to be much like Brighton, a very well-oiled machine. And you'd like to think that will be the same in regards to the future owners of the football club. Now, I don't know what the sale price is. I think it was about 400 or 500 million, something like that, for the club that I think they're expecting. But I do worry for him. I will be honest. I might be completely wrong, and I hope I am, because I do like Brentford, a lot of time for him, even though they are a bloody fall in the side of West Ham every season. Never seem to get a point off them. But no, I do like them, and I do slightly have my concerns, because you just feel like there's such the way that club's been run by the current owner. To have a change, you do wonder what will happen. And I just hope for their sake, for the fans and for the football club, that they get the sale correct and they bring in the right people to take the club forward, or to continue the path that they're on. We know it from having a certain way owners that are run. It can really hamper you. It really can. Having an owner that could have a slight different vision of how to do things, or it can really, really dismantle things. And we've had years of frustrations from our ownership, haven't we? The decision making and the way they go about things. I mean, we just experienced it again, didn't we, in the bloody transfer window? Having an owner that seems to have far too much sway in terms of the football side of things, which can really hamper you. So, not to say they're going to end up with a David Sullivan, but I'm just saying you just hope that they're going to get the sale correct. And it's a bit of a shame. If I was a Brentford fan, I find it a bit of a shame, because do they need new owners? Do they need further investment? They seem to be going along well at the moment. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a brilliant thing for their club, and the right people will come forward and take them forward. And I do hope that does happen for them. But I would, if I was a Brentford fan, I'd certainly be concerned about that. But on to tonight. We've got our work cut out. They're a good side, and they've got some good players. Despite, as I say, that being a team that have struggled a little bit, I think that they are going to cause us a few issues, and we've got to be really up for tonight. On to West Ham. This is pivotal for David Moyes. A massive game for him, and rightly so. I mean, it's been horrendous, isn't it, this year so far? It really has. From what has started off such a promising start to the season, with some really big results that we got, they seem like a distant memory now at the moment. They really do. We've just been in such poor form now for quite some time. I mean, we're talking, end of February we are now, and without a win, without not only that, without a good performance, have we? I mean, the only one that I could possibly draw any heart from was the Man United result. Performance, should I say, not the result. The performance at Old Trafford, I thought we played well and showed some heart. But again, defensively, we've been shockingly bad. And I'm just, like many fans, I'm feeling very drained with West Ham at the moment. Find it hard to muster up that excitement and enjoyment about it all at the moment. It just feels very much a slog, doesn't it? And although we are in need of 3 points, and David Moyes is certainly in need of 3 points, I think for me, and I'm sure for yourself, a lot of fans as well, I just want to see a good performance. I want to see a bit of heart, a bit of energy, a bit of life in this side. It's been really, really lacking, and yeah, I want to see it. I think that's going to be the big tell tonight. We've got to see a side that are going to fight. David Moyes, I've given my view on this recently in a recent video. You can go back and have a check in regards to his press conference leading into this game. I believe he's going in the summer. I think his words, although he may have said, look, we're going to deal with it at the end of the season and et cetera, and all that kind of stuff. My feeling is the way he was talking was that he is on his way. But that all aside, he will want to finish his time at West Ham on a high. And I want him to finish on a high. Of course I do. I'm a West Ham fan. I want to see us do well. And despite David Moyes being quite a divisive figure in terms of the football he provides and that kind of stuff, they take nothing away from him and what he's achieved on paper for the club. And if this is to be his last season, which I do believe it to be the case, then I'd love to see him finish it well, and shake hands and go separate ways. I really would. And this is a big game. This is a really, really big game. Despite us being in terrible form, we can get things back on track pretty quickly, actually. We've got a decent run of fixtures here. I know Brentford, obviously, is a troublesome game for us. We've then got Everton away and then Burnley at home. These are 3 games that West Ham realistically can get maximum points. We can do. And if we are able to, look, I mean, let's just focus on tonight, focus on the Brentford game. It's a big game. It's a big opportunity for the club because I believe if we get this, we go joint 7th. If we win this, that's great. And you're considering the fact that Liverpool won the Carabao Cup, that means that 7th now will be a minimum now to get in European football next season. These have got to be our targets. They've just got to be the target for the club. It's a big, big game. One that David Moyes has got to get these players fighting, got to show some heart. These players have got... And we talk about David Moyes a lot. I mean, I certainly do. And I get bloody exhausted talking about him, really. Of course, being the manager, the pressure is on him, and rightly so. But at the same time as well, these players need to stand up. You know what I mean? The pressure needs to be on these players. We need to start seeing these big names stepping up. Mohamed Kudus has been pretty lacklustre since he's come back. I haven't seen much from him. We need to see him back with a bit of swagger. We need to see Jared Bowen back into it. Don't get me wrong, works his socks off. We want to see some quality from these players. Edson Alvarez the same. I want to see a bit of life in this team. You know what I mean? A bit of fight, a bit of heart. Get stuck in. That first minute, go and kick Tony up in the air. Do you know what I mean? Show the fans we're actually up for this. Do you know what I mean? That's what you need, because the fans need a lift. It's all well and good saying the fans need to get behind this. But the fans need something to get behind. You know what I mean? You need to see something. You need to see a bit of fight, a bit of passion. And when you're in the run of form that we are in, that is what's most vital, really, rather than going, oh my God, we just need a win, we need a win, we need a win. Of course, yeah, the win is important. That is vital. We do want the 3 points. But what's more important, really, at this stage is just show some fight, show some desire, show some hunger that we are actually up for this season. We want European football. Because make no mistake, it's really, really important West Ham get European football this season. Because if David Moyes is to depart, which I've said I do believe we will, then Tim Steidten is going to be tasked with bringing the next manager in, bringing the next players in. We're talking about Paqueta likely to leave in the summer, whoever else is going to leave, etc. There's going to be lots of work to be done at this football club in the summer. We know that. But it will make it a lot easier for Tim Steidten to sell West Ham to certain players if we've got European football on offer. So it's really, really important. This is a big game. And obviously, of course, we've been boosted by the return of Lucas Paqueta. I expect he will start tonight. We've got an update from ex-WH employee. He played a full game behind closed doors and came through it fine. So it looks like he is fully fit and will be in the squad. So I expect him to be in the starting 11, which is such a big boost. And it couldn't be better timed, really. And as I was saying, like when you talk about Kudus, Bowen, Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, these players that we need to see step up now and go, right, we're up for this. This is the tonic they need. That kind of that magician to come in and go, give me the ball. I'm going to make things happen. Let's all go in this together. We need to see a real team effort, and it's a big game, big match tonight. And I really hope that we see a bit of West Ham from early in the season. Do you know what I mean? A bit of swagger about us, a bit of confidence. Let's just go for it. It's going to be a hell of an occasion. I really do feel, because the pressure. If they don't show any fight, then dread to think. Actually, I actually do think that if West Ham do put in another lacklustre performance, much like we got at Nottingham Forest, another Arsenal repeat, I do struggle to see how David Moyes carries on. I really do, because if I was the owner, I'd be thinking, well, you've had all this time to sort this out, and they're just not fighting for you. And I think their questions will have to be asked then, whether he's going to be able to carry on and see the season out. And he'll know that. He'll absolutely know that. My biggest concern is the defence. That is the biggest concern, and something David Moyes has to act on it. I do believe Mavropanos will come to start in 11. I think he has to. David Moyes can't keep sticking with Zuma and Agurd. He just cannot. It would be insane if he does. But yeah, he's got to get it absolutely right. Here we go then. This is my team. I want your prediction in. Get your prediction in. You enter the draw for winning an item from our shop. So just get your predictions in. And also, if you want to put your team in as well, it's always useful, because I do like to see that, see what everyone else is thinking. But this is my starting 11 for tonight. I'm going for Areola in goal. Ben Johnson at right back. I think he deserves it, to be honest. I think he's been excellent so far this season for us. I think he really has. He really stepped up. And we want to keep him, get him a new deal sorted out for him. So I think we need to be giving him more game time. And I've not been overly impressed with Vladimir Soufal, to be honest. He's been okay, but I think Johnson deserves it at this stage. I'd have Johnson at right back, Mavropanos and Agurd. I've gone for Agurd, actually. I would like to see these two playing more together. Kurt Zuma has to be dropped. I'm not impressed with his leadership. I'm not impressed with anything really I've seen from him for quite some time. And he just looks shot to pieces. He barely can walk. I need to see him benched tonight. Really want to see a bit more. And as well, with Mavropanos and Agurd, you feel they've got a bit of pace in them. We're going to need that. It's a bit of energy in that back line. So, yeah, Mavropanos and Agurd for me as the centre-backs, and Emerson at left-back, of course. Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse as my midfield. I'm going to have Lucas Paqueta playing ahead. Obviously, Calvin Phillips can't play. Of course, he's suspended. I'll play Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse, and I'm going to have Lucas Paqueta playing the central role. I don't want him out on the left tonight. I want to see him in his most creative and most influential position of the pitch. We need him playing at full strength. We need our best players in their best positions. I don't want to do this poxy David Moyes playing players in all different players just so he wants certain names on the team sheet. Play your players in the best position. Get Lucas Paqueta playing in the central role and controlling things behind the front three. And my front three are, I want Kudus out on the right, I want Bowen out on the left, and I want Antonio up front. And I'd like them three to be rotating throughout the game as and when needed. I'm confident. I can't believe I'm saying that. I shouldn't be. I don't know why I'm saying I am, but I am. I don't know why. I've woke up today and I just feel more confident in the fact that West Ham can go and get a result. I've got a feeling we will. I've got a feeling we're going to nick a result tonight. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think it's going to be a nervy affair. But I think we're going to win. I think West Ham are going to win this 2-1. That's my prediction. Let me know yours. And yeah, here we go. Come on, you irons.